really useful way to understand the court cards is to connect them with the psychological test, the Myers-Briggs test. If you haven't done it, it's a really fascinating psychological profiling test, and there are loads of free links online where you can take the test for yourself. And basically you come back with a 4-letter profile type. There are 16 profile types you could be, and there are 16 court cards. Now, I have connected each court card to a profile type, but that's quite complicated to start off with. So let's just look at the 4 suits and link them each to one of the Myers-Briggs letters. And I'm going to start off with how the wands are intuition, and how the pentacles are sensation. Now, intuition is not what we might think of nowadays. It's not a psychic connection. It's a way of understanding and processing information. So do the test and work out where you are on this scale between intuition and sensation. And when I do this test, I normally come out very heavily on the intuition. So people that are on the intuition side, we like to look at the bigger picture. We like to look at theories. We like to approach tasks often in what seems like a random or a chaotic way. We're very good at joining the dots, and we can struggle if something has to be done in a set order, because we like to approach tasks with an order that suits us. As an example, I know this really freaks out a lot of people. When I read a book, I often like to pause and jump ahead and see what's going to come. If I'm watching, for example, a Netflix series, I can get very fed up if I don't. I often jump ahead and read the titles of the next ones, because I like to have a feel of the whole thing. I don't, that's how I work. I like to have a feel of the bigger picture. So to me, the intuitive function in the Myers-Briggs test is definitely wands. Sensation are people that like evidence. They like to do things in an ordered manner. They like to follow the right path. They like to follow instructions. They like to start at one and finish at the end. They like to be practical. An easy way to understand this, and of course, we are all between the two. You're not going to be 100% sensation and practical with no understanding of the bigger picture. We are looking at where are you between these two, and using the Myers-Briggs to better understand the psychology of the court cards. So when I was with my husband, I am very much on the intuition side, and he's very much on the sensation side. So our cooking styles were opposites. I am very much bigger picture, not particularly good at planning. Open the kitchen cupboards. Right, we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. I can put those together. I'm going to add a dash of this, a bit of that, and we'll see what we've got. Not always reliable. Sometimes it goes wrong. And if it goes right, I can't repeat it. Whereas my husband, he used to like to have a recipe. And if the recipe said he needed X amount of peas, then he needed X amount of peas, and not having the right amount would cause him a lot of stress. Whereas I would just dig in the freezer and find something else. So if my husband was going to cook a meal, it would involve finding a recipe, probably doing a food shop to make sure he had everything he needed, and then clearing the kitchen so that he could follow the recipe correctly. What it meant was it was very stressful to have him cook a meal, but when he did cook a meal, it was probably going to be delicious. Whereas, mine, sometimes I replace something and it shouldn't be replaced. So we're not looking at better or worse here. We're trying to understand the difference. Are you a bigger picture, chaotic, theory, abstract kind of a person? Or do you prefer to have instructions and order and to do things in a set way? And then the second sort of Myers-Briggs that I'm looking at is thinking and feeling. Now, again, obviously, we all think and we all feel. What this is about is if when you make decisions, which is dominant for you? Do you prefer to have a logical, structured way of making your decisions? Do you think about the end outcome or the goal and decide, okay, that's what we're going to do, that is the best thing to do, and we're going to work towards that? Or do you take into account how you feel and how everyone else feels? And is that more important to you than perhaps an objective end goal? Now, obviously, go away, do the test, see where you lie. But another good way to understand this is if you've made a decision, perhaps you've come to talk to your partner or your children or your best friend, and you're going to say, okay, just want to let you know, this is my decision, this is what I'm going to do. Which would be the best way to influence you if your partner or your friend thought you were wrong? Are they better to rationally debate with you why they think you should change your mind? Or are they better to show you that they are upset or worried or anxious, or that they feel you might be making the wrong decision? Because for me, I would definitely respond more deeply if somebody showed me an emotional response. Whereas my daughter, who is definitely in the Myers-Briggs on the thinking, she is much more responsive to a calm discussion. And when I get emotional, which I do because I'm a feeling, then she tends to close down. And in our relationship, we've had to adjust to this, and I've had to recognize that a calm, logical discussion is a better way to communicate with her. And so, I do the Myers-Briggs test. It's so much fun. The rest of the Myers-Briggs, it can be applied to the court cards, but it's a little bit more complex. It is something I'm covering in my tarot correspondence course, and I will probably do a couple more videos on here as well. But I just really wanted to share how beautifully the intuition, the sensation, the thinking, and the feeling relates to the 4 suits.